What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. It is going to be a great Friday, folks. Let's see how we did on Thursday before we get things started. This is not what we want to see. Another losing day. Buckets 3-0. We love to see that. The SportsLine picks 1 for 2 there, but 4 and 5 overall, including my round one matchup, Sungjae Im versus Sahith Theegala. We lose that one. We're going to try to bounce back in golf today. I got a couple fun bets you might be interested, because keep in mind, the round hasn't started yet. And maybe I'll throw in a round 2 lowest score, since I wasn't able to throw in a first round leader because of the setup of this tournament. But ladies and gentlemen, Brad, I see you. Will Likes, Brad Betts, I see you. Mark Buckholz, Kylie Reynolds, Taylor DeHart. A lot of Brads in the chat, by the way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it on Friday. It is going to be a great day, in part because we're 6 days away from NFL season, and we're in the middle, it feels like already, of college football season, which means it's Chip Me Up time, which means it's Big Pick Energy time, folks. Oh my gosh.
Let's go!
We've got the sniper sniping. We've got the Buckets with his best M2 impression. That was delightful. Coming off Robert Frost quotes. But I got to tell you, before we get to sniper or Buckets or our favorite number 6s of all time, perhaps for the Chicago Bears, it's really, truly time for the Chip Me Up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Snake. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Sniper. Good morning, Early Edge fam. All the Brads and all the Chads in the chat. What's up here on a Friday? I hope you're bathed in all that college football like I did last night. It felt so good to ring in Friday morning watching that kick sail just a bit outside. Sorry, Gophers. That was an ugly win for Mac Brown and the boys. We got more because you're going to be up late tonight on Friday. We got a full day set for you Saturday. And look, I might get put on early edge probation with how many picks I got. We'll see how many I can get in the time we have.
Yeah, we've got a lot of picks today. Truly a lot of picks, a lot of college football on today's show. So buckle up. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. Buckets, speaking of picks, you once again picked on Sniper yesterday. Except this time, I mean, listen, you've kind of been winning these, but you hadn't won a lot against the Sniper. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Not only did you go 3-0, like you said you were going to on yesterday's show, which is unbelievable for somebody who kind of believes in jinxes like yourself. For you to put that out there was pretty great, but you also won the showdown. So you got 10, 20 seconds if you want to gloat a little bit.
See, I have no desire to gloat here because I'll be totally honest. I forgot I had a showdown with Sniper. And this morning I had to ask Sniper, what team did I end up betting on? So I've got nothing to gloat about because I forgot that game existed.
Sniper, not only do you lose, but you lose to a guy that didn't even know he won. How does that feel?
He's disrespecting the game.
I mean, a little bit.
I sit before you and the Early Edge family a humbled man today. I am 1-5 this week. Buckets was 3-0 yesterday. I lost a showdown to Buckets. Just to sum things up, things are not going well right now in the Sniper family. But we're going to turn things around because it is Jay Cutler. No, it's Kyler Gordon. No, it's Kevin Butler days away from the NFL season.
That was a nice drop right there. All right, we got 3 Bears right there. All right, here's what we're gonna do, because by the way, this is like banana land, right? Because you just said what your record was. I happen to be 2-0, which is nothing to celebrate in MLB, but it's celebration for me because I've been so bad in the MLB. And Sniper, you're the one that's having week after week after week. That's great. So this is just a bizarre week. And hopefully we turn it around today. I actually have an MLB and a PGA pick today. So let's see
if I could really fast. Yeah. I don't know how many people were actually watching the White Sox Rangers game. I know there were only about 25 in person at the White Sox game. But I had the Rangers on the run line. They were winning 2-0 going into the 9th inning. There was a foul ball off the bat of Andrew Benintendi that fell between 2 guys that one of them probably should have caught. And then he hit a home run. And that's why I lost that play. So that pretty much sums up how this week has gone.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Brian Grebin says we're Bubby Brister days away from NFL. What a shout out. Yeah. I love that. All right. What I also love is that we have so many college football picks, Chip Patterson, that we're breaking them up within this show. Of course, there's a ton of picks on SportsLine. They've been there for quite some time. we're going to lead with the Friday pick for today. And then we're going to close the show with a bevy, that's plural, by the way, of Saturday picks. So start us off with Stanford.
Yeah, for the uninitiated, I'm always going to bring you one Friday pick, then some of my favorites from Saturday. My favorite Friday play is in the last game because we're going out to the farm where Stanford kicks off its ACC era with TCU coming to town. And I think this is just a few too many points for a Horned Frogs team that was 1-4 on the road last year, lost their last 4 road games of the season. And you think about the way they started last year. Big game, Coach Prime in town, we're at home, all the buzz. This is not going to be the case. You don't think home field advantage when you think about Stanford, but you talk to coaches and you talk to players. It is a home field advantage because it's kind of hard to get the juices flowing. And that's exactly where Stanford wants you, because if they hang around, they might be able to beat you. So I got Stanford and all those points, and don't hate them if you just want to sprinkle the money line.
Very nice. All right. That game is that like a 10 o'clock start?
10:30 p.m. Eastern time kickoff.
All right. So blame Chip Patterson when you wake up late on Saturday morning. That's all on him. But I absolutely love it. Listen, Chip, the reality is we're going to be staying up late, I don't know, for the next 4 months straight or so.
Yeah, so the North Carolina-Minnesota game got delayed. Even the Illinois game was in the books. It was maybe right before 1 a.m. Eastern as I'm getting into bed. And I just was like, here we go. Mid-season form.
Absolutely love it. I mean, we're going to get Tuesday and Wednesday night football. I mean, that's right around the corner too. So, I mean, weekdays even are going to be tough sledding in terms of getting to bed early. All right, Buckets. We go from college football to soccer. You were 3-0 yesterday. You've got 2 picks today. So let's make it Thursday, Friday, 5-0. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds good to me, Sia. But before I give out the 2 picks, I'd like to give Sniper a little bit of encouragement by reading another excerpt from another Robert Frost poem. So this is just for you here, Sniper. The leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. I want you to think about that, Sniper, while I give out these 2 picks, because we're going to start with the Svein Bundesliga in a fantastic matchup between Jan Regensburg taking on Growther Fürth. And when we bet on Growther Fürth on the first match day of the second Bundesliga, I told everyone, if you see Growther Fürth play and if over 2.5 goals is playable, you slam it. Growther Fürth does not play defense. They have incredible offense, and they're playing a Jan Regensburg side, newly promoted, who also doesn't play defense. Over 2.5 goals should be minus 200 here, but BetMGM are giving us minus 135. That might be a little bit of juice, but considering we might get 3 goals in the first half, that is absolutely not a little bit of juice, and everybody needs to play this for the 12:30 Svein Bundesliga matchup. After that, we're going to the top division of Bundesliga, the first league, as we've got a good matchup here between Union Berlin taking on FC St. Pauli, and I'm going with the classic here. Both teams to score at minus 115. Union Berlin at home were super tough to score against 2 years ago, but they're not anymore. They were lucky to get a point off of Mainz in their season opener, and St. Pauli, who looked like the better side against Heidenheim but could not score, will be desperate to get on the score sheet for the first time here. I love both teams to score at minus 115. If you want a little bit of a riskier play, you could look for both teams to score in the first half at plus 380. But my favorite play is just for the game. I love that line here, Sia.
Wow. Okay. I'm still focused on how you pronounced union. How is that pronounced? Union, like onion?
Union, yeah.
Like onion. Impressive. You're pronouncing things correctly as usual, but you're also quoting Robert Frost in consecutive shows. Like, I don't know what this new man is. I don't like it. I don't hate it. I'm just confused by it. So very engaging, very entertaining. Sniper, your response to Buckets reading you poetry to make you feel better.
I just wanted to say thank you. I'm glad that he is so heartfelt toward me. So yeah. I'm grateful.
Heartfelt is what I was thinking as well. If you want to make Buckets bets or any of the bets in the chat or the bet you're about to hear from Sniper, BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. Farzad says, Snipe, you're the best. Well, let's put that to the test right after a message from our partners.
Yep, they're wrapping up the summer. And now we're looking forward to kicking it with superstars. Now that's CBS Sports Sunday. We'll see you on September 8th.
Mark Buckholz says, Buckets so cultured. And Danny Brasco is in the chat. He says, let me get a bag of French onion chips. Love that, Danny Brasco. All right, we got shadow boxing from Sniper, but we need to know what's going on in the diamond. So what's the play today?
So, yeah, as mentioned, I've had a rough week and things have gone really, really wrong at late moment. Almost every single game I've lost has been late. I wanted to tell a quick blackjack story. One thing that my dad always taught me was when we're sitting at the table and everything's going wrong. For example, let's say I have an 11. So obviously I double down. The dealer's got a 6 up, and then the dealer flips their card over and they have a 5. So then they hit a 10 and they get 21 and screwed me over. Even if you want to keep playing, you need to dial your bets back, right? Let's say you've got $30 out there. You want to dial it back to say, let's go down to the table minimum of 10 or 15 right now because things just aren't going right. I usually pick 2 games. I'm only going to pick 1 today because things are just not going right. So I'm going to dial it back. My 1 game is going to be the Padres at plus money in Tampa Bay. Yes, I know it's in St. Pete, but we can call it Tampa Bay because that's the Tampa Bay Rays. Martin Perez on the mound for the Padres, 2.70 ERA in 5 starts since the Padres acquired him in front of the trade deadline from the Pirates. They are 5-0 in his starts since then. The Padres are. They've lost 2 straight, but I think they're ready to bounce back because they're still going well overall since the All-Star break. The Rays, on the other hand, they offloaded in front of the All-Star break. They've lost 5 out of the last 7, and Taj Bradley has a 7.96 ERA in his last 5 games. I like the Padres to get to him. I like Martin Perez to throw well for about 5 innings, and then the Padres bullpen to take over. Remember, Jason Adam, former Ray, Tanner Scott, former Marlin, and Robert Suarez. Great bullpen there for the Padres. So they're going to have a lead, and they're actually going to keep it this time when I'm playing them. Also, we've had several people in the chat asking about home run props in recent days. So I came loaded with a home run for you. Anthony Santander of the Orioles, 22 of his 38 home runs this season are on the road. He's in Coors Field facing Austin Gomber, who is home run prone. So we'll go with Anthony Santander as a home run play.
Santander in Coors Field. That sounds delightful. And by the way, you did, 0 for 2 yesterday, but you gave out a home run prop yesterday, which hit,
yeah,
correct?
Corey Seager actually hit one. Yes. So I did hit that. Yeah.
We'll take that. We'll absolutely take that. Big Cheesy has some bets in the chat here. I know he gave out a couple of hitting props, but he's got the D-backs money line at plus 120. Sniper, let me just bounce that off of you real quick.
Cheesy had Francisco Lindor over 1.5 total bases yesterday, and Lindor hit a home run. So Cheesy nailed that.
Well, Cheesy's super sharp.
What was the question?
D-backs money line plus 120. Any thoughts on that one?
Gosh, I don't even remember. Who are they even playing? So let's see. The Mets is over. Let me get there fast.
Yeah, so it's Kershaw and Gallen.
Oh,
you got the Dodgers at Arizona.
Yeah, I actually looked at that this morning. Kind of a stay away from me because Kershaw's looked pretty good in his last 2 starts, but he doesn't go late into the game. He's only going to go like 5 or 6 innings. I could see that play. I'm staying away from it, but if I had a lean on that, it would probably be Diamondbacks and their plus money.
That would be my lean as well, including in the first 5 buckets. Go ahead.
That was Cheesy that asked that, correct?
Yes.
I just want to give Cheesy my support there because if you look at the Diamondbacks' last 4 games, they win, lose. Statistically speaking, they're supposed to win this time, keep that pattern going. Yeah, they're due. It's an easy one.
It's definitely predictive in baseball when that happens. So, yeah.
You know what they say, playing checkers, not chess. Well,
Yes.
that's what some say, at least. All right, speaking of checkers, it's been checkers for me in the MLB streets all season, but I bounced back a little bit lately, but let's start with some golf. I'm going to go with a round 2 head-to-head again. The first guys tee off in like an hour and a half, so we still have time here, but I'm going Patrick Cantlay minus 120 over Russell Henley. I came into this tournament really liking Patrick Cantlay. If you watch the early wedge, you'd know that. He was only 2 under yesterday, which frankly isn't a great score considering that I think 2 under was about like average. So we're not looking for average from Patrick Cantlay. Henley was minus 4. He was better. He was hitting more fairways. So normally I'd look at that 1 round sample size and I'd say, okay, well, Henley has the edge, but I'm not really interested in just looking at the 1 round sample size. That's something that is somewhat predictive, but really I'm looking at the long-term form, the recent form from, let's say, the last 12, 14, 16 rounds. Henley's been good, but I still think Cantlay is the better player. He's got a good history at East Lake. We're getting minus 120 here against Russell Henley. And again, I think Henley's one of those guys that is very steady, but I think Cantlay is probably going to improve off of round one. He was really bad with the putter. I don't expect that to be the same. I think he'll be more dialed in with the putter, and that's going to be the difference against Russell Henley. So that's my round two matchup, Patrick Cantlay over Russell Henley. Played up to -125. That's where it is at some books, but most books have it at -120. I'm going to tweet this out because I've got three guys in mind, but I'm going to narrow it down to two for the lowest round two score, which kind of functions like a first round leader. Now, I'm only going to do that because we didn't have first round leaders for this event. The three that I'm narrowing it among are Wyndham Clark, Sam Burns, and Patrick Cantlay. They're all in that 20-1 range, and I don't want to give out three because it's only a 30-person field. But I'm going to tweet out two basically right after this show. I just want to look at a couple more things. The other play I have, I just put it on SportsLine. I'm going with the Braves. Excuse me, I had this written wrong. It's not the Phillies. It's the Braves first five. That's on me, not on Jake. The Braves first five +0.5 against the Phillies. We got Ronaldo Lopez on the mound, and we've got Ranger Suarez on the mound. Both pitchers are pitching great. I love what I've seen from Ronaldo Lopez over the last two starts, including when he struck out 10 against the Phillies. He's looked really good. The Phillies do get him, 10 days later, so that usually helps the hitting team. But this Braves team, I think, has been really solid against lefties, especially lately. I think Lopez is in a really good spot. We're getting so much value here because we're getting the run line on that first five. So give me Braves first five +0.5 at -115. All right, well, I just talked a lot. So let's let somebody else talk a lot. I said at the front end of this show that we were going to give out one pick on the front end, but Chip Patterson, you're coming to this show on Fridays now with so many picks, including what you just said, a guaranteed Friday pick, of course, but some of your favorite Saturday picks as well. So that's the setup. Talk to us about your favorite plays in college football on Saturday.
All right, so we're going to start with our Primi. That's going to be your 12 o'clock game. That's going to be one that you're dialed into, and I've got you something that I think is going to cash when the teams go into the locker room. Because when I'm looking at Georgia and Clemson, we got a couple heavyweights. Now, Georgia clearly the heavy favorite here, but what is Kirby Smart going to want to do, especially with an offense that I expect will be down 2 running backs? I think we're just going to try to warm Carson Beck up. We just want to get out there. We want to do the offense because we don't think that Clemson is much of a threat. So I'm not expecting Georgia to get aggressive early, though I do recognize with Carson Beck's talent, they might uncork him late. And then for Clemson, as I mentioned, I just think they don't want Cade Klubnik to make the crucial mistake. It was his biggest issue last year. They've talked about it all week. They need him to take care of the ball and avoid those costly turnovers and mistakes in critical situations. So do you think Clemson, which is famously conservative in the biggest games, that's why it's BGD, big game Dabo, he punts from plus territory, he kicks chip shot field goals. He's not a go for it kind of guy. And so when I take all those things into consideration, the sleepy noon start and the big body bends, I see them kind of warming into it. We're going to go with the first half under 24.5. Okay, now on to the secondi. We're going to the 3:30 slate where it is going to be so hot in DKR as Texas plays host to Colorado State. And the key here is that Colorado State can score. Colorado State can score on a lot of teams, and that includes the Texas Longhorns because they've got a quarterback in Braden Fowler-Nicolosi and a wide receiver in Horton who are able to be at a Power 5 level of talent. I think the pass game gets us to 17, 20, 21 points for Colorado State. And what does that mean for Sark and the boys? Well, that means they got to keep the foot on the gas. So I'm looking at a final score where Texas gets up into the 40s, where Colorado State can flirt with 20, and we go over the 59.5. And finally, take it to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Take it to the big house where Michigan and Fresno State are going to debut game number 1 of the true Sharon Moore era. Though we did beat Penn State and Ohio State last year. So I think that the questions at quarterback really give us an advantage into understanding what Michigan's going to be, because Michigan has one of the best defensive lines in the country. There are only a few teams on Michigan's schedule that can block that combination of Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. I do not think Fresno State is one of those teams. I don't think Fresno State's going to score many points. And when Michigan has the ball, we've looked at the loss of Roman Wilson, the loss of Cornelius Johnson. The pass game does not have obvious options, and whether it's Alex Orji, who I think will take the first snap, or Davis Warren, who I think will make an appearance as well, I just don't see them being up-tempo. I don't see them being super explosive. It's going to be about running the football and playing good defense and squeezing the life out of your opponent. I think that Michigan unders are going to be something that I'm going to be looking at for a while, starting here in week 1.
I mean, not that you don't want to be here Monday through Thursday because it's always a great show regardless. And by the way, you'll see, is that my third, by the way? Mike McClure is going to be back on this show next week. I know you've been missing him, at least on the morning show, you've been missing him. So keep that in mind. But Chip, to have your chip me up and then to know for the next, how long is college football season? Let's call it
January 20th.
Right. Okay. So 5-6
That's
months.
what the national championship is?
Yeah. Hey, you want to
because the playoff this year. Yeah.
So January 20th in Atlanta, it's also Inauguration Day. What could go wrong?
Oh, geez. Yeah, absolutely nothing. I mean, again, just buckle up, everybody, because so much football on this show, but obviously on the Early Edge primetime shows. But to have you on Friday, just rattling off your favorite Friday and Saturday plays is pretty awesome. Buckets, go ahead.
I just got a quick question for Chip here because I grew up in a farm in the middle of nowhere, northeastern Indiana, and now that I've recently moved. You what?
Unbelievable.
I would never know it.
Oh, yeah. Nobody would have guessed that I grew up at a farm. But I recently moved to Columbus, which I'm learning is a big sports town and which I'm learning has a pretty big college football team. So I've decided to get more invested in college football. But I can't do that, Chip, without a bet on the opening Ohio State game. Do you have anything off the top of your head that you would recommend a new Buckeyes fan betting by chance?
I have a bet for the game, but it is not one I would recommend for an Ohio State fan. Would you like to hear this bet?
I would still like to and see what as well.
How's your self-confidence and self-worth? How are we feeling when we look
terrible. Every morning.
Do I have a play for you. If you want to feel really different about yourself, here we go. Everybody get a little close. So, if you can find it, we're going Akron fourth quarter plus 7.5. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Akron in the fourth quarter plus 7.5. I'm calling this the Jenny Dale special because we think it's going to be a blowout. We think it's going to be a 50-point game. And what happens in those games? Sometimes you get a running clock. Both coaches agreed to it. We're just trying to get out of here. A lot of times you got backups or the backups to the backups that are in the game. So the following situations are winners for us. Neither team scores in the fourth quarter, clock bleeds, and we just get out of here healthy. That's a winner for Akron plus 7.5 in the fourth quarter. Or maybe Ohio State scores one touchdown because you know what? They're still Ohio State. Their fourth stringers would start at Akron. And that's still a win for Akron. And if Joe Moorhead, who we remember was a pretty daggum good offensive coordinator at Penn State, if he is able to try to threaten that back door with a score of any kind, that's just increasing our lead. Akron plus 7.5 in the fourth quarter.
I mean,
so we're in high school and college football season when dadgum gets worked into a take. So, second of all, since I said Kevin Butler earlier, when I said Kevin Butler days away from the NFL, I would like to petition the football world to bring back the single bar face mask.
Ooh,
I like it. Mark Mosley.
You just like any kicker and punter should just have the single bar because they're not going to get involved in any tackles, especially the kickers now in the NFL with the rules on the new kick. Like kickers are never going to hit anybody. Give them the single bar face mask, man.
Yeah. Well, ask Brian Moorman after that Sean Taylor hit in the Pro Bowl like 15 years ago, whether he wants 2 bars on his face mask or just one.
Now he wants the full cage.
Yeah, he wants the full cage and perhaps extra padding everywhere. Chip me up is awesome, says David Talk. Doug Horner says masterclass. It really was indeed. Wow, that was really impressive. And there was somebody that said, I think it was Johnny Steckel, he said, Sia, you're rambling too much when you gave out your takes. Honestly, you're right. I was totally rambling too much. My apologies. I'll dial it back next time. Ad F says, Chip, you're the man. Nice. Thanks, Bucket, says Eric David. Chip, nice pick, says David Talk. All right, let's see the recap screen. All right, I've got the Braves first 5 plus a half at -115. And I've got Patrick Cantlay today, -120 over Russell Henley in a round 2 matchup. Buckets. Regensburg Firth over 2.5 at -135, and Union Berlin and F. St. Pauli, both teams to score at -115. Kind of think I nailed it there. Sniper, Padres money line +105, just one pick, dialing it black. Love the blackjack analogy. A lot of Kenny Rogers fans in the chat, I noticed when you were giving out that pick. Chip Patterson, tonight. Stanford plus 9.5 at minus 110. We're all up late tonight thanks to that pick. And then tomorrow we got 3 plays from Chip Patterson. Clemson, Georgia, first half under 24.5 at minus 120. Texas, Colorado State over 59.5 at minus 115. And Michigan, Fresno State under 46 at minus 112. All right. Moshi says, Sia, please don't listen to anyone. This show could be an hour plus, and we'd all love to watch. Listen, see, that's thank you. But it doesn't mean I don't ramble a little bit too much. I'm just saying I'm introspective too. I can cut out a little of the extra words that I like to use. It's the attorney in me that just loves to hear myself talk. So I got to wrap this up, right? Or I'm just kind of proving what I just said I was going to do incorrect. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great show. Thank you for being in here. CLE fan, Brad Morris, Mark M, Mark Buckholz, David Talk. Always appreciate y'all being in here. It is going to be electric, just like this episode. As we approach football season and MLB playoffs, we still have soccer. We've got everything. PGA is still going to be going for the fall swing. So we've got so much lined up for you. Make sure you got your notifications on SportsLine on behalf of the Sniper, Buckets, the Chip Me Up, and Chip Patterson, and Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s, making up for my errors. I put the wrong team in, and he changes it in like 3 seconds. He is the man. Say, let's go, Jake, or something. We got to get Jake on this show. Jake is absolutely amazing. Appreciate you all. Let's have a great Friday. Let's cash some tickets. We'll see you next time on The Early Edge. We rest our case.